which was alcohol, I cannot lose my income, because then it's going to really be difficult to get my drug of choice, alcohol. But I would find a way, and I have, and there's a whole nother story about that. But so now you got this infant, and then you've been drinking, say, 20 years. A whole lot of that time you were not there for that child. And I guess maybe conversely, as the alcoholic that you may be, and that I certainly was, my parents would invite me to Christmas every year. It was inescapable for like the first 17 years of life, because I was, not an independent agent, at least in the United States. I couldn't make a lot of decisions, big life decisions, big life decisions on my own until becoming of age, as they say. But then at 18 years old, and just say, to make this simple and totally hypothetical, 18 years old, you're on the street, you're on your own, just get it done. Okay, and so I'm working a gig, I'm making the money, I'm living independently, happily, cheerfully, except for being an alcoholic and always drunk. And the mom calls me, or the dad, or my family members call me and invite me to Christmas dinner. Maybe the first year, maybe the first 5 years even, still just hammered every day. I continually accept the invitation and do actually physically show up at the party that I had been invited to. But at least for myself, and I think I see this a lot, the sin of omission is, even though I didn't directly go out of my way to harm people, I would decline the invitation. So that's like rejecting somebody's love. That's an ugly spot to be in. The unrequited love syndrome thing, I'm very susceptible to that. I don't know why, but like in particular, authority figures, say, in my life, a therapist, a doctor, the dentist, the dental hygienist, the waitress even is kind of in a higher authority than I am. It's like, what would you have, sir? It's the unrequited love thing here is, maybe this is because I'm male. There's one thing that differentiates me from others, from the female of the species. I fall in love with people in authority in my life. In people of authority in my life might be a more accurate way of putting it. So then, that's not typically in the U.S. and a lot of organizations of humans getting along in public. It's fraternizing. It's not good to be having an affair with your boss, I think. There's all sorts of problems that come with that. Even though it may be tiptoeing around on the proper side of the line of, whatever the rules and regulations and actual societal laws, other humans see that, look at your behavior, they start forming opinions and all this stuff. And it gets very messy. And, okay, man, what is the point here? The sin of omission, that you decline others' love towards you. Your family, you just discount them. That's hurtful, man. People, remember, like to be accepted and validated and all these kind of things. At least for myself as an alcoholic, I used alcohol to gloss over those kind of I don't know, affronts in my life. It's like, man, I sent you a card and you didn't come over and marry me or something. I, I invited you to this big deal that was important to me and you didn't want to go. That kind of thing. We did that. I did that as the alcoholic. And I know how that feels because I've been kind of trying to say here is that I'm really susceptible to that phenomena, or is it phenomenon? Whatever, to that circumstance, I'm highly likely to fall into it and become harmed in some way. I've since learned how to deal with that kind of thing, though, in 20 years of being sober and going through all these readings and books and things. Wow, I think the caffeine's hitting me too much today. I'll probably title this differently. So it'll be like this an introductory video of all this blathering on and on in an effort to kind of, hopefully as I'm making these videos again daily and you keep coming back to watch these, you'll understand some of the swerving all over, as I said, from tangent to tangent. My sponsor used to call that the shiny bunny, or the shiny bunny chase or hunt or something like that, chasing the shiny bunny. And then there's always a shinier bunny. So I just divert and jump right into that, and then the next thing, and to be of service, became willing to make amends to the people we had harmed, to all of them, to make amends to all these people we had harmed, period. My paraphrasing of the 8th step. The list size, I was saying, maybe you think you haven't caused any harm. Man, do you see how I just got right back to the point? That's funny. Maybe you think you've been the saint or whatever and you haven't harmed anybody. Then I said, wait a minute, maybe there's a sin of omission. And then all that I just was talking about. Now, wait a minute. We made a list of all people we had harmed, even through being absent in their life, causing harm in that way. There's a biblical principle behind that, which I'm not going to unpackage for you here, because I'm not trying to turn you into, or I'm not trying to instill my belief system into you, make you turn into whatever I am. However, the Alcoholics Anonymous thing kind of clears that up for us. Step 2, came to believe that a capital P power, what kind of power? A power greater than ourselves, could restore us to sanity. So whatever that power is in your life, I'll put it this way first. I'm forbidden to tell you what power should be greater than you in your life, and then you should behave accordingly. You need to discover that on your own. There's a lot of ways to do that. One way is to look at the people at a meeting, whether it be a Zoom digital in the cloud meeting, or whether you physically attend a building and go, or anyhow, you go physically to an AA meeting and there's other human beings alive in the room with you that are trying to get their lives together in the same manner that you are, because it's been destroyed by alcoholism and at your own hand, usually. selfishly indulging in getting high, and then it ruins your life. I think that's step one. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable, and then you find out that powerless over alcohol, what's absent, what are you missing, what are you lacking, what might help being powerless, having a power, getting some power, a power greater than yourself, a power greater than the monkey on your back, power greater than your addiction, a power greater than Jack Daniels. So I another reason why maybe I fall in love with all the people in authority in my life, whether it be the waitress or my attorney, because I just a legal matter that I was pursuing has finally been resolved favorably, and that's kind of why I was absent. It I don't know how attorneys do it, man. It was a head game every day. It's very draining for me. Anyhow, power greater than yourselves could restore you to sanity. There's many ways to discover that power. One way that really works for a lot of people, it's the only way I could get a grip on this concept, was physically going to an AA meeting or virtually going to an AA meeting and seeing, looking, listening to these other people. Inevitably, somebody of all different walks of life would tell me my story, almost exactly to, at whatever age I started drinking because of this or whatever. And then alcoholism is a chronic progressive disease, and it's kind of dependably predictable in that way, that it's either going to go like this way or that way, and that's kind of about it, or whatever. There isn't like a whole large different way that people screw up their lives through alcoholism. It's nuanced. There's slight differences, but I'm saying like overall, this thing. So you know what that does? It narrows down the antidote, or the fixative. Gets simpler. One silver bullet, if you will. Alcoholics Anonymous. So you go to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting because you're curious whether or not you're an alcoholic, or you're an alcoholic, and somehow you got with these other alcoholics that are trying to get sober and straight. And one kind of solution with, in 12 steps. Maybe that's 12 individual solutions. That's how I looked at it. Because all this, the ego, the monkey on my back, the alcoholism was running my life. I just want to tell you everything. And I need to remember, let's not do that. I'll give you a little bit today to make it practical, and then a little bit tomorrow, and try and keep it to be of service. Today's thing, right? I feel as though I need to explain that. Let's read the thing. One person's interpretation, or how they found a way to be of service. Oh, I didn't finish my little thing here about you keep attending AA meetings, you see the results that these people are getting. And in this book, the 12 by 12, the 12 steps and 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous, really describes this well. And I can't help myself but to go here. that this step 2 thing, came to believe in a power greater than ourselves. We're at step 8, though, today. Why do we make a list of people we had harmed, and then how do we become willing to make amends to all these people? For the longest time, and right now, I'm thinking the becoming willing part was the result of the previous 7 steps done sincerely, to the best of my ability at the time. Part of that, was my life's a wreck, step 1. I'm powerless. I can't fix it. I need help. And then you came to believe in a power greater than yourself. This I'm still trying to explain. I can't tell you who or what that is. I mean, I could give you a lot of different instances. I'm saying for you, this is like a Socratic method kind of thing where you need to make up your own mind about that. The power greater than yourself. And I'm trying here to one particular power greater than yourself, rather than the waitress at the drive-in, say, or even the usher at the theater showing you the seat, the hostess at the, or whatever. These people, you attend an AA meeting and you look at the results they're getting or claim to be getting, and you can tell the people that are actually getting those results and actually sincerely trying to get those results, and because they're apt to tell you why they're failing or succeeding in that action. So a power greater than yourself at the time, I was trying to come up with it because there's a good point in this book. Maybe I'll have that again for you better tomorrow. But it's like, well, certainly where alcoholism is concerned, these other people seem to be getting it right, or at least they're content and getting along acceptably or favorably or contentedly, happily floating down the river of life, going with the flow, rather than freaking out, like I was saying, my own behavior, and profanely and in a vulgar manner, letting you know personally every shortcoming I find in you. That's causing harm. That's directly causing verbal harm. A problem with that is that for me, that also damaged me. And I believe it affects humans in the same way. A lot of run-of-the-mill regular human beings that are not severely psychologically damaged, verbally assaulting a lot of people a lot is just like saying it to yourself, because you had to think the thought and then you said the thought and it was loud and you heard the thought, and like the only separation there typically for me, you would do something that I judged wrongly almost all the time as some kind of attack at me. I would say you, and then all this horribleness. What's going on there? I'm thinking the horribleness, thinking I'm directing it at you. Then I'm saying it verbally to ensure you're catching what I'm pitching, right? I'm also catching what I'm pitching. And that first word, you, has kind of lost, it's not there anymore. It's focused on the attack. There's probably I'm not going to try, but some kind of a military warfare strategy involved here, that you direct an operation towards the enemy. And when you get in the way of me at the time clock and I can't get out to the bar as quick as I would like, you're my enemy. And then I get out of my way, say something simple like that. Those kind of things just, in a lot of people, build up, and then you forget, or somehow you're hearing the same thing that you're calling other people. Here, I know now why I brought that up. To be of service. Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us, rather than saying you're in my way. It is clear that God's plan for me is expressed through love. God loved me enough to take me from alleys and jails so that I could be made a useful participant in his world. My response is to love all of his children through service and by example. I ask God to help me imitate his love for me through my love for others. Here's something about that again, is that on the surface, why would you think you want to help somebody else? And then you do find yourself being drawn into circumstances where you can help other people. And it's like, why am I doing this? It just sort of feels natural or whatever. And so, going backwards through everything we just read, not everything I've been talking about, but everything I've been talking about comes from the same thing, is that God loved me enough to forgive me, say, and I just ignored him for half of my life. And then I got sober, and I was still a wreck. I'm still a wreck to this day. It's just I'm better able to cope with the wreckage, maybe. It's not as debilitating as it used to be. Anyhow, man, I think I'm going to stop here because I've run the battery out, and I've talked almost almost an hour. This is the introductory speech. So thank you for coming by here. Oh, I meant to mention another primary objective nearly missed is that if you get on YouTube in the search box, you can find more of my stuff on another differently created channel, not exactly following the correct protocol of YouTube and their parent corporation, Alphabet. That's it. Alphabet, Google, YouTube. And coming to your neighborhood soon, Flock cameras or something like that, controlled by Alphabet overall. Or some grim Philip K. Dick novel Orwellian future that we're slipping into, maybe. Let's see. Go look up twogo Enterprises on YouTube. It kind of needs to be in the YouTube search engine or search box. And whether you capitalize the T in twogo and the E in enterprise, I don't know if that's necessary. But if you go to twogo Enterprises, it needs to be twogo spelt in that manner, because that's an acronym for the Will of God organization. That's my thing. So that's twogo Enterprises, TWOGO Enterprises. I'm not going to spell it because I maybe can't. That's a joke. ENTERPRIZES, Enterprises, or Enterprises with an S if you're British, I guess. So that's another channel I created. There's 17 more other videos from earlier, from like as much as 2 years ago, I think there. Because my first original channel that was created properly, legally, authentically, in accordance with regulatory measures by at the upper echelon Alphabet, Google, and YouTube was canceled, taken away from me because I, in the simplest and crudest manner, I was harmful to their neighborhood. I forget how they put it. I disagreed and maybe not flagrantly disobeyed their terms of service. And it was, I don't know. But man, they're in charge. I did something wrong. I had no way to, it's just like, you got me, I'm guilty. And, I screwed up, I made a mistake, and then they took everything away forever, permanently. That's what they do. And they have every right to do that because in terms of, all that. I read all the fine print, I knew what I was doing, and blah, 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 and all that shit. Oop. That's one curse word. I didn't mean to say it. Yes, I did. I said it. So anyways, thank you for coming by here. Also go check out twogo Enterprises elsewhere. It's me. It's just a different name. So good luck to you, and keep up the hard work of getting sober and staying sober. That's the problem. Any drunk can fall down, get arrested, get thrown in the tank, the drunk tank, and sober up for a day or two. If you can hold on to that sobriety, that's the thing. It's difficult, very difficult, nearly impossible for some people to do that. Powerlessness, we need power greater than yourself. AA, look at the results they're getting. They're great. Maybe I could get those same results, because look at that loser telling me that he made it too. That's kind of one way I looked at it. So anyhow, keep up the hard work. It is hard work. It's valuable work. The rewards are great. You'll be rewarded in the same like measure. That's another biblical thing. Anyhow, thank you for coming by here. Goodbye.